Grand Rising. Happy fabulous Sunday. Or if you're subscribing to Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to you. Because it is Mother's Day here. Most people are celebrating Mother's Day. Nova Scotia's Organic to the Land Stories back with another episode. Today's episode was brought to me via Spirit once again. I have been thinking about today and what today represents and what today means. And I've been thinking about all the mothers out there that are either in preparation of today or are being acknowledged and embraced. You know what? I salute you and I salute your children. And I am happy for you today that, you know what, today you'll have an opportunity to be with your children. And you know what? You will, re-strengthen those bonds and do what family do. And that's healthy family. Have your day. This video, though, I'm speaking to the mother who is the mother of a narcissistic child and who has swore the abuse of that child to the point of where, you know what, you started to lose yourself or are feeling right now like you have lost yourself. You've lost your essence of who you are. You're not trusting your own thoughts because most of your thoughts are, what you don't realize it, but they're controlled by somebody else, controlled by what somebody else is thinking of you at this point. And for anyone out there that knows anything about narcissism, there is narcissism and then there is a narcissistic child. And the damage that can be created to the parent that has been dealing with that child can be catastrophic. Having grown up, my first experience of narcissism was with my mother. So I was a victim of narcissistic abuse. Didn't have a name for it back then. Didn't realize actually what was going on. Because everything was extreme in my life and in my growing up. Nonetheless, it did its damage because it left me in my life having to deal with abandonment issues, having to deal with people seeking uh, uh, approval, seeking the approval of others, looking for my worth in someone else. All those things that can happen from the abuse of narcissism. It affects how you enter a relationship. It affects how you parent. All of the above if you do not do your work. And oftentimes, most of us don't end up doing the work until we find ourselves really fighting for our lives. I'm speaking to that person out there because there is a likelihood that this is a pattern that showed up long before your child. Long before your child. And today is just a reflection and a reminder of, for you, everything that went wrong. And you probably did the trip down memory lane of what did I do wrong? What did I do? What did I say? What did I do? Could I have done this differently? Could I have done that differently? Am I a narcissist? All these things are going through your head, especially if you have tapped into any form of resource. And I hope you have, because there are resources out there for those of you that are unable to go and get therapy and whatnot online. I'll tell you, in fact, before I did this video, one of this is spirit. One of the people that came up was Dr. Romney, who has been extremely instrumental along my healing journey and dealing with the narcissism that I have had in my life, which has been a pattern in a lot of the relationships that I was in. Unable to recognize it, that this is a pattern, but why do they keep ending up being narcissists? Well, you know what? It's because there were things in me that, you know what, kept attracting them, and because I didn't heal what needed to be healed inside of me. So there is a pattern that goes with all of it. And I don't know where you're at in your journey, whether you're just recognizing it, or whether, you know what, you might even be in the position of where, you know what, I don't think that that's what's going on, because there were things that you know what, um, there's a lot of doubting throughout the process. As I said, I'll go back to that. Uh, She's just one. Dr. Romney is just one. There is a plethora of them. And all you got to do is type in, you know what, uh, uh, narcissistic parent, narcissism. It's a whole catalog out there. Trust me, it is. Listen, if you haven't tapped in, there's a whole healing out there for you. There is a compact conversation that you didn't feel that you were able to have with people because, you know what, feeling so misunderstood. Because that's another thing. What you go through as a parent is not normal. So when you are talking to a parent that is not dealing with the issue and they're just dealing with normal parenting, not the same thing. And oftentimes we will compare ourselves. We will use comparisons because we're always comparing ourselves if we haven't done that healing on some way or another. And especially when, you know what, one of your issues is the seeking of approval, because you have not identified that as being a pattern in your life. It often opens and filters itself right into our parenting and the approval of those around us. There is hope. There is hope. And right now, I know that you are going through it. Choose you today. Something has happened to you. You may not be able to put the words to context yet, but I can guarantee you that the day will come when you can. Because you know what? I'm living proof. I never knew. It's not that I never knew. I didn't even know how to start the conversation, because I didn't know where it began or where it ended. I know where it ended. It ended when I said no more. It ended when I walked away. It ended with a conversation of where, you know what, within mine and my daughters, where she acknowledged her narcissism. She acknowledged her to the point, she acknowledged the fact that, you know what, she did not like me, that she loathed me, and that my existence, if I was crawled underneath a rock and struggling for my last breath, that wouldn't even been good enough for her. That was it. Because up to that particular point, I had been trying to fix something especially because now I'm a grandmother. And all I could had experienced from her from that particular point was a form of control and letting me know that she was going to be taking my granddaughter away from me at any given moment. As I'm doing my healing, I'm wrestling with trying to stay in there in some form of way to keep a relationship going with all the evidence appearing in front of me of what it was that I was dealing with. And not ready to do that, walk away. I did choose to walk away. And it was the best thing I ever, ever, ever did. Because then my full, true healing could begin. You cannot heal in the space and the place of in which you have been wounded. Sometimes you got to go away. You got to remove yourself completely. Cut off access from that individual. And I know right now that's something that is probably unthinkable for some of you, or you know what, something that you're struggling with. Keep, listen, you may not be able to talk to the friend. You may not be able to, because you know what, that narcissistic child is probably filtered through all of your relationships in some way and muddied the waters and has a conversation going on out there that is, I can guarantee you, there's a conversation going on out there about you that you are not aware of, because there had been a conversation going on out there about me that I was not aware of, that had been orchestrated by my daughter, to the point of where, you know what, that whole conversation was ending up online and I wasn't even aware of it. And my friends, or so-called friends, my family, so-called family, knew of this conversation and had participated in some of it. Some of them. My whole point being is, when you understand narcissism and you understand triangulation and you understand flying monkeys and you understand the whole fucking gamut. And if you don't, I would suggest that you do, because you're going to understand that this has been a pattern in your life or something in your family bloodline, that you know what, you, the chosen, have come here to change the shit, to expose the shit. And it's pretty shitty because it deals with your heart, like all things. But it's one of those things because of society's view on mother and child relationship, and yours is so vastly different from that, because that is not what you experience, even though you put your very best out there, and your best never being good enough. And you've also made your fair share of mistakes, and you've acknowledged them, and you've done your healing, or you try to do your healing. But that narcissist will continually remind you of what it was you did wrong, or what it was that you're still lacking, what it was and where you were not good enough. I could give examples, but you know what? That's not the trip we're going down today, because I know that the wound is already that deep, and that the confusion in your mind is that strong. I'm here to just alleviate some of that and let you know what, you're not alone. I'm acknowledging you today. And I would advise you today to stay off social media, because social media is going to be giving you all the things. It'll be like stabbing yourself all the time. And trust me, not all of those relationships are the way that they are appearing. People often use social media to give a fictitious version of what's going on in their life, because the opposite is this. If they were to show you that they're dealing with a similar circumstances, but they don't want to advertise that, that's the person that, you know what, doesn't want to acknowledge the healing. Maybe is the fucking narcissist themselves, you know? And so they promote the other narrative, where you, You can't do that. You won't put up pictures of the past. Or maybe you did go through that because you know what? It gave you some sort of solace. But you're not doing that anymore. You're just finding it difficult to just make it through this day. I'm going to say, do you honor yourself with something beautiful? Go do something good for you today, whatever that is. And know this, you're not the problem. You are removing yourself from the problem or removing yourself from someone that is unwilling to do their inner work. Because that's the whole thing. The narcissist does not want to do the work. They don't want to take the accountability. And so when you're dealing with someone that's dealing with that, you don't have a relationship that is in the working. Because you're the only one coming to the table willing to meet even halfway. So that mothering relationship says, I don't give up on my child. I don't give up on my child. But when your child is a full ass grown adult and they're in front of your face like that, because at some point they needed to take the accountability. And you stop making excuses for them and denying yourself. Because every time you denied yourself, you know what? You shrank. You became more sick mentally. And then maybe it's manifesting itself physically with you now. It's time. Give yourself today. And know this, as you go throughout your journey, whatever healing, whatever they need to do, because they're on their path. You came here to help show them certain things, what they do with that after a certain point. At some certain point, they are no longer a child. They have the ability to look at things differently if they choose to, or they have the ability to stay stuck in a narrative that they are unwilling to change because it services them. Anyways, I'm not going to make this long video, but I just wanted to let you know that for the parent out there that is not in communication with their child because it is not a workable relationship. I'm not talking about the narcissistic parent that has, their children finally figured out the fucking shit and they said adios. I'm not talking about that parent. I'm giving voice to the parent that has the fucking reversal going on. And there's a whole psychological reasons for that. Other than which, you know what? Maybe we'll do another video. Drop in the comments if this is resonating with you. And even more, drop your story in an email. Because, I'll tell you, that's the thing right there. We often don't have that space in that place to even begin to tell our stories. Maybe we could start a conversation. Maybe, you know what, you could ignite your own healing. And if this conversation has ignited your healing and helped you with today in any way, and even if it's just letting you know that you are not alone, I would feel that I would have done what it was that Spirit wanted me to do today, and allowing my story and my healing from where I'm at help you along your journey, because that's what this one is about. And when it comes to breaking generational curses, we need to have these conversations because they are healing conversations. And speaking of truth, in the statement that I made about my mother being the narcissist in my life, I've got 13 siblings, and I can guarantee you that they don't all look at my mother like that. I can see my mother's story. I can see the development of the narcissist. I see it. I see the whole pattern. That is also why I give myself the permission to speak the words of how I experienced my mother. Anyways, don't allow anyone to prevent you from telling your story. Don't allow someone to close up your throat chakra. And if it is, I'm going to tell you, you start reclaiming your power back. Start reclaiming your power back. I am going to leave you on this Sunday, 10 toes down, standing in my power. Hopefully, you've hit the like button. That helps. That helps so that this message can get out there to somebody that really needs it. Hit the share button and subscribe to this channel if you're just stopping by and it really resonates, because we are about raising the vibration and doing it also through real conversations. Those conversations that nobody really wants to have. This is a safe space. In the meantime, make a great day.